I was born in Chicago, and at age 7, we migrated to the Bay Area, and I lived in Berkeley, California, the rest of my life except for world travel. And I am the vice president of the senior class of Berkeley High in 1968.
How did you come to St. Mary's?
I had been working other places in the country, including Disney World, Epcot. But when my parents became elderly, I decided that it was time for me to come back to Berkeley and be a good daughter and help my parents out. And I got an apartment. My parents like you to be independent, which I always had been. And it was in the same part of Berkeley that they lived in. And after they both passed away, I knew this could happen. I got stuck in the niche of Berkeley. And I had my apartment for 32 years there, which is quite a chunk out of one's life. And all of a sudden, the plumbing went bad. The water was leaking from somewhere. I discovered it was through the drywall in the center of the apartment. And that led to my having to leave the apartment. They had to rebuild some of the wood structure that got wet. And honestly, I think it wasn't the best place for me. I was sort of stuck because Berkeley is a small town compared to Oakland. So I had to find alternative housing, and I tried a variety of things. And on about the 14th move, I'm counting some hospital stays where the shelters pushed me into the hospital so that I could get better social service directory. And Tori, the outreach social worker, came to the medical respite that I was at in Alameda by the marina, quite kind of to the edge of the bay, kind of away from things, but I learned how to get around. I was her first client, so she tells me. And you can only stay at the respite for a certain amount of time. So she felt it was important that I come to St. Mary's and go into transitional housing, even though I had already been to the St. Mary's Housing Clinic, which is a wonderful resource that helps people, and I was assured I was going to get into St. Andrews because my name randomly got picked in a lottery for a studio. But since I have been in the transitional housing, I've participated in the St. Mary's programs, which helps you socially, and now to the art program. It got me back to an interest. I have 2 degrees in fine arts, practice fine arts. They were good places, UC Davis and Leamy. However, I really didn't have great instruction. It was mostly independent, and I was glad to be in this workshop doing portraiture, which I'd never done before. And I learned more about shading because the face has the shadows and the highlights. And the main problems about it was that it was on a Sunday morning, which is usually your time to rest. And also, I would have liked it a little bit longer. I think afternoon workshop would have been great. And this place has plenty of room in the afternoons, although right now we're going to go to temporarily the youth center, which also has work rooms for workshops. So that's it. And I found the two teachers inspiring, the couple that teaches the class.
What was your favorite part of the program?
Well, I think I had two favorite parts. One was seeing my fellow classmates or workshop mates and how they were handling the challenge and the product they came out with. And of course, I was so glad to have the resources of the paint and the brushes so that I could get back to an interest which was unfortunately stripped away from me when I lost my apartment. I lost a huge amount of my lifestyle when I lost my apartment.
Can you name something in particular in your artistic learning that gave you a big surprise?
Well, it was kind of surprising that we would portray the shadows as a dark shape. I think I took a right turn and learned how to vary the colors so that I wouldn't have the sharpness of just lights and darks. I really sort of developed in this class the use of using acrylic paint more as a watercolor and kind of fading them out and creating subtle blended highlights.
Can you share with us how this project lifted you up?
Well, I feel good to have a product that I can see. I like my portrait, and I even wanted to do a little more embellishments, but we ran out of time, and perhaps I and another classmate that I was speaking with, we plan on even refining our portrait after it comes down from the display at Studio One.
Was there something that the art teacher Jack showed you that you will take with you in the future?
Well, there are a few things. Number one, we took photos of ourselves. Number two, he had the projector that we can use with that image to get the proper proportions. And also, he was big on shadows and highlights, which is something that I did develop in the class, yeah. I learned, yeah.
Do you want to do more projects in the future?
I do. I was glad to participate, and I get a certain inner fire by participating.
Is there anything else you want to share about the project?
Well, I want to thank whoever's funding it, and for Jack's generous spirit to share his skills.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.